What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel, Kins here, and today we're diving into something truly unconventional. We're breaking all the rules in filmmaking. That's right, we're challenging the norms and exploring how bending or even breaking the rules can sometimes create amazing creative outcomes. Even when you look at this lens right now, it's an 11mm lens. It's a pretty wide angle lens for a talking head shot, but I like it, and we're breaking the rule today, so stick around because you don't want to miss this one. So, we'll know that filmmaking comes with a set of rules, right? These rules helps us to create clear, engaging, and visually appealing stories. But sometimes this rule can feel a bit restrictive, right? What if I told you that some of the most iconic moments in film history happened because someone decided to break the rules? Let's start with the big one. Don't shoot against the light. Traditionally, we keep the light source behind us when we're shooting so we can light up the object. But what happens if we break this rule? Think about those beautiful, dramatic silhouettes and stunning lens flares. Directors like Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, Sam Mendes, and numerous directors have used this technique to add a layer of emotion and intensity to their scenes. A lot of romantic films and movies also use this technique to create backlit, and I think it looks awesome. It looks very moody. Personally, for me, to create cinematic look, the best way to do it is actually shoot against the light. Now, the key thing is that we want to make sure that the light on the background is not overblown. And then all you gotta do is just add more key lights to just light up the subject. But by shooting against the lights or a degree against the light, it would make the footage a lot more cinematic. Next up, always use a tripod. Sure, stability is very important in filmmaking. However, sometimes introducing shaking and handheld movement can actually create more realistic, raw and authentic feel to the film. A lot of documentaries, series and movies use it because it's good like you're right next to the person and experience what the cameraman actually experienced. Sometimes breaking the rule help you tell a better story. I love shooting handheld because it's fast, you don't have to bring gimbal or tripod. But also it gives more genuine movement into your film. Then there's the rule of sticking to the script. Scripts are great for structures, but sometimes it's better to be improvised and make the script even better. But some of the best movie moments were improvised. Take the iconic movie Godfather. There's a line,
"Leave the gun. Take the cannoli."
Yet his most memorable line was entirely improvised, but for a moment of inspiration might not have happened. Apparently the line was fully improvised by the actor Richard Castellano, who's acted as Clemenza in the movie. Another example of this is the conversation between Matthew McConaughey and Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie Wolf of Wall Street. This for me is probably my favorite scenes in the movie, and actually a huge portion of this dialogue is all improvised. Another example of this is Ledger improvised the slow, sarcastic clap, adding a chilling touch to the Joker's character. Now let's talk about lighting. Proper lighting equipment is very important to create a cinematic look and the mood that you want to control. However, sometimes unconventional light source can create a very unique look. Ever try something like the flashlight on your phone as your main light source? Or even some random street lights can create a very cinematic and moody look. So you don't always have to bring 3 different lights every time you shoot something and create the most cinematic scene. Do you know that the movie The Revenant is known for its extensive use of natural light, such as sunlight, fire, and moonlight? And honestly, that movie looks beautiful. Sometimes it's good to just test it out and try out different scenes and experiment with different lighting. And lastly is the 180-degree shutter rule. It's the film industry standard that states that the shutter speed for video clips should be double the frame rate. So for example, if you shoot with 24 frames per second, which is the most popular frame rate, you should have the shutter speed 1/48 or 1/50. And if you shoot with 60 frames per second, you should have your shutter speed as 1/120. If you shoot 120 frames per second, then you should have the shutter speed as 1/240. So when you apply that rule, you can create the most natural motion blur. It basically makes the footage sharp enough, but it's also have enough motion blur so it looks very cinematic. However, this rule has been broken so many times in Hollywood, and actually that's one of my favorite things to do. If you shoot with a lower shutter speed, it's create like kind of like a ghosting feel It's dragging the shutter. It can be used a lot in the transition, and it creates a very dynamic footage. And sometimes in a very fast fighting scene or even a sport, sometimes you want to have a really high shutter speed because then your footage is more crisp, less motion blur, but you can see exactly what people is doing, and it feels more immersive in my opinion. So there you have it. Breaking rules in filmmaking isn't just about being rebellious. It's about pushing boundaries and find new ways to tell your story. Remember, every rule in filmmaking was made by someone who dared to think differently. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, drop a comment below on your favorite rule to break, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.